Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a new session of English Flash Talk. I'm Oliver, and I'm joined as always by Sophie. Today, we are opening the door to one of the most requested and, quite frankly, one of the most intimidating topics in our community: social survival. We aren't just talking about grammar today, we are talking about human connection, specifically how to make friends and how to network in a professional or social environment when English is not your first language. This is a long play episode, so find a comfortable spot and let's dive deep into the art of conversation.
Hi everyone, I am Sophie, and I am so excited for this episode. For many of our listeners, this is the final boss of English. You can read a book, you can watch a movie, and you can understand a podcast, but the moment you have to stand in a room full of strangers at a party, a conference, or a wedding, your heart starts racing. I have been there too. Even as a native speaker, walking up to a stranger is intimidating, but doing it in your second language, that takes real courage. And more importantly, it takes a strategy.
It certainly does, Sophie. But here is a secret that many people forget. Most people in that room are just as nervous as you are. They are waiting for someone else to take the first step. Today, we are going to give you the exact scripts and the psychological tools to be that person. We are going to break this down into several critical stages. We will start with the icebreaker, then move to building the bridge, then deep diving into personal connection, and finally the art of the contact exchange. Sophie, let's start with the icebreaker. Why is it so hard to start a conversation?
It's hard because we overthink the opening line, Oliver. We think we need to say something brilliant, funny, or incredibly impressive to get someone's attention. But in reality, the best icebreakers are what we call contextual. This means you simply talk about the shared environment you are currently in. You aren't trying to be deep. You are just trying to signal that you are open to talking. You are testing the water. You are observing the situation, giving an opinion, and asking a question. I like to call this the SOQ method.
The SOQ method: situation, opinion, question. That is a brilliant framework. Let's break it down. Suppose you are at a networking event and you are standing near the coffee table. The situation is the coffee. The opinion is that the coffee is good or bad. And the question is inviting the other person to agree. For example, this coffee is surprisingly strong for a conference, isn't it? Do you usually need a lot of caffeine to get through these events?
Exactly. Notice that Oliver didn't just ask a question. He made an observation first. This is less aggressive than just walking up to someone and asking, "What is your name?" It feels more natural. You are inviting them into your world for a second. In English-speaking cultures, we value this slow start. We call it breaking the ice because the atmosphere between strangers is often frozen or cold. You are the warmth that melts that ice.
Now, once the ice is broken, we need to build the bridge. The bridge is the part of the conversation that moves from the environment to the person. This is where you ask about their connection to the event. A classic bridge phrase is, "So, what brings you to this event today?" Or, "How did you hear about this conference?" These questions are open-ended. Sophie, why is it vital for B1 students to avoid yes or no questions?
Because a yes or no question is a conversation killer, Oliver. If I ask, "Do you like the speaker?" you say yes, and then we both look at our shoes in silence. It is very awkward. But if I ask, "What did you think of the speaker's points on artificial intelligence?" you have to give me an actual answer. You have to share a thought. This gives me hooks to hang my next sentence on. If you say, "I liked the part about automation," I can then talk about my experience with automation. The conversation begins to flow like a river.
Let's look at a long, natural dialogue at a professional networking event. I'm going to play the role of an attendee who is a bit nervous, and Sophie will be a professional I'm meeting for the first time. Listen for the SOQ method and how we build the bridge into our professional lives. Excuse me, do you happen to know if there are any more programs for the afternoon sessions? I can't seem to find one at the registration desk.
Oh, hi. I think they ran out about 10 minutes ago, but I actually have a digital copy on my phone if you want to take a quick look.
That would be fantastic. Thank you so much. I really don't want to miss the keynote speech at 3 p.m. I've heard this speaker is quite controversial. By the way, I'm Oliver.
Nice to meet you, Oliver. I'm Sophie. I've heard the same thing about the speaker. I think people are either going to love his ideas or hate them. Is this your first time at the Digital Innovation Summit?
It is. I've wanted to come for years, but I finally decided to make the trip this time. It's a bit overwhelming, isn't it? So many people and so much energy in one room.
It definitely is. I've been coming for 3 years now, and it seems to get bigger every time. So, Oliver, what brings you here today? Are you a developer or more on the business side of things?
Actually, I run an online language academy, so I'm here to learn about the latest AI tools for video production and translation. I'm looking for ways to make our content more accessible globally. What about you, Sophie? What do you do?
That sounds fascinating. I work in digital marketing for a tech firm in Chicago. We actually specialize in automated subtitling and localization services, so we might have more in common than we thought.
No way. That is exactly the kind of thing I was hoping to find here. How long have you been with that firm?
About 5 years now. It's been a wild ride with all the recent changes in technology. It's a challenging industry, but it's never boring.
Let's stop there and analyze that interaction, Sophie. We used several key phrases that every B1 student should have ready in their mind. First, I started with a functional question about the programs. This is a very safe icebreaker. Then, you offered help, which created an immediate positive connection. And finally, we used the classic "what brings you here" question to find our professional common ground. Yes, and notice that I didn't just ask, "What is your job?" I asked, "Are you a developer or more on the business side?" This is called a choice question. It makes it much easier for the other person to answer because you are giving them two options. It helps the conversation move faster. And Oliver did something very important. He gave a full answer. He didn't just say, "I'm a teacher." He said, "I run an online language academy." This gave me a lot of information to ask more questions. Exactly. In social English, we have a rule called the three-sentence rule. When someone asks you a question, try to give 3 sentences in your response. Sentence 1, answer the question. Sentence 2, add a detail or an opinion. Sentence 3, ask a question back to the other person. For example, if someone asks, "Where are you from?" don't just say Mexico. Say, "I'm from Guadalajara, Mexico. It's a beautiful city famous for its music and food. Have you ever been to that part of the world?" That is a perfect formula, Oliver. It keeps the energy moving. Now, let's talk about a different setting. Networking is for work, but what if you are at a casual house party or a birthday celebration? The "what do you do" question can sometimes feel a bit too much like work. How do we keep it casual and friendly? At a party, I like to ask about the person's connection to the host. "How do you know Sophie?" Or, "How was your journey getting here? Did you have to deal with the rain?" These are low-pressure questions. They are easy to answer, and they feel very natural. Another great tool is the compliment. But Sophie, let's explain the internal versus external compliment rule in English cultures. This is so important. In many English-speaking environments, especially in North America or the UK, it is considered very polite to give a compliment, but it should be external. This means you compliment a choice the person made, like their clothes, their accessories, or even the food they brought. For example, "That is a very interesting watch. Where did you get it?" Or, "I love the color of your jacket. It really stands out." You should avoid internal or physical compliments like, "You have beautiful eyes," with a stranger, as it can feel too personal or even uncomfortable. Right. When you compliment an object, you are actually complimenting their taste. It's a way of saying, "I like your style," and it usually leads to a story. If I tell you I like your watch, you might say, "Oh, thank you. I actually bought it during my last trip to Japan." Now, the conversation isn't about watches anymore. It is about travel and international trips. This is how you make friends. You follow the breadcrumbs of information. Breadcrumbs. I love that metaphor. Every time someone speaks, they leave a little breadcrumb or a hook. Your job is to listen for that hook and ask a follow-up question. If they mention Japan, backpacking, coffee, or software, that is your next topic. But, Oliver, what if the student doesn't understand the hook? What if the other person speaks too fast? This is the biggest fear for B1 learners. But you can use active listening signals to show you are engaged even if you are still processing the language. These are short, reactive phrases. You don't need to speak a full sentence to be part of a conversation. You can say, "No way, that's incredible. I see what you mean. Really?" or "Fair enough." These sounds of engagement keep the other person talking and give your brain time to catch up.
I call those micro responses. They are like the fuel for the speaker. If I'm telling you a story and you are completely silent, I will think you are bored or that you don't understand me. But if you say, "That sounds tough," or "I bet that was exciting," I feel encouraged to continue. It takes the pressure off you to be the perfect speaker and allows you to be a perfect listener. Being a good listener is actually a faster way to make friends than being a fast talker.
Let's practice a casual house party scenario. This is a three-way conversation. I will introduce Sophie to a friend of mine named Mark. Listen to how I use a social hook to help them start their own conversation. "Hey Sophie, I'm so glad you could make it to the housewarming party. There is someone I've been wanting you to meet. This is Mark. Mark and I went to university together."
Hi, Mark. It's a pleasure to meet you. Oliver has mentioned your name a few times. He told me you are a bit of a travel enthusiast?
"Guilty as charged. Nice to meet you too, Sophie." Yeah, Oliver and I actually spent a summer backpacking through Europe after we graduated. It was quite an adventure.
No way! That sounds like an incredible experience. Oliver never mentioned the backpacking part. Where was your favorite stop on that trip?
Honestly, we both fell in love with a tiny village in the south of France, but Oliver was the one who kept getting us lost because he refused to use a map.
That sounds exactly like him. He does the same thing when we are looking for a new restaurant in the city. So, Mark, do you still travel a lot for work, or is it mostly for fun these days?
Did you notice what happened there, Sophie? I gave a social hook when I introduced Mark. I said he was a travel enthusiast. This gave Sophie an immediate topic to jump on. When you introduce people, always give them a gift. Don't just say, "This is Mark." Say, "This is Mark, he's a great guitarist," or "This is Mark, he just moved here from Canada." You're giving them a bridge to walk across.
It makes such a huge difference. And once you are in that conversation, you need to look for common ground. This is the me too phase. In English, we use structures like "so do I," "neither do I," or simply "same here." If someone says, "I really struggle with early morning meetings," and you say, "so do I," you have created an immediate bond. You are now a team with a shared opinion. This is the foundation of friendship.
But we also have to talk about the part of the conversation that everyone fears, the art of the exit. Many people are afraid to start a conversation because they are afraid they won't know how to end it. They think they will be stuck talking to the same person for 3 hours. But in a social or professional setting, it is perfectly normal and expected to move around the room. You just need a graceful exit.
A graceful exit has 3 parts: the compliment, the reason, and the contact. For example, "It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you, but I promised myself I'd try to meet at least 3 new people tonight. Would you happen to be on LinkedIn? I'd love to stay in touch."
Or a more casual version. "It was great meeting you, but I'm going to go grab another drink before the next session starts. I'll catch you later, hopefully." Notice that you aren't saying, "I want to leave you." You are saying, "I'm going towards something else." It is polite, it is professional, and it is very common.
And the contact exchange is key. In the modern world, we don't always use business cards. We might say, "Are you on Instagram?" or "Let's connect on LinkedIn." For B1 students, this is a great way to continue the friendship in writing, where you have more time to think and use translation tools if necessary. It's a safety net for your new friendship.
Let's summarize our Making Friends section. Use the SOQ method for icebreakers. Situation, opinion, question. Follow the 3-sentence rule for your answers. Look for the breadcrumbs or hooks in what the other person says. Use active listening signals to show you are engaged. And finally, use a graceful exit to move on.
If you practice these small steps, you will realize that people aren't judging your English grammar. They're judging your energy and your interest in them. If you are interested, you will be interesting.
We have covered the intentional social interactions, But what about the unintentional ones? The little moments in elevators, at the office coffee machine, or waiting for the bus. This is the world of small talk.
Small talk is often called filler language, but it is actually the glue of society. It's how we show others that we are friendly and non-threatening. In the next section, we are going to master the topics of the weather, the weekend, and the question tag hack that will make you sound like a native speaker.
So, stay with us. Take a moment to process what we just talked about. Maybe think about your own 3-sentence answer for when someone asks what you do. We are moving right into the world of small talk. Welcome to the second segment of our immersion guide. We are moving from the structured world of networking to the spontaneous world of small talk. Small talk is that short, casual conversation you have with people you don't know well or with colleagues you see every day. For many learners, this feels pointless. But in English-speaking cultures, silence can often feel uncomfortable or even rude in shared spaces.
Exactly, Oliver. Small talk is a social ritual. It is a way of saying, I see you, I acknowledge you, and I am a friendly person. It is very common in elevators, in lines at the supermarket, or while waiting for a meeting to start. The goal isn't to share deep personal secrets.
The most important thing to learn about small talk is which topics are safe and which are dangerous. Safe topics are universal. The weather is the absolute king of small talk, especially in the UK and Canada. Other safe topics include sports, local events, traffic, and weekend plans. Sophie, why do we avoid things like politics, religion, or money in small talk?
Because those topics are heavy and divisive. Small talk should be light. If you ask a stranger how much money they make or who they voted for, you are creating a high-pressure situation. You might start an argument. The point of small talk is to find agreement. We want to agree that it's a rainy day or that the traffic was terrible this morning. Agreement creates comfort.
Let's talk about the question tag hack. This is the secret weapon of natural-sounding English. Instead of asking a direct question like, "Is it cold outside?" you make a statement and add a tag at the end. It's freezing outside, isn't it? This structure is brilliant because it assumes the other person agrees with you. It is very hard for someone to say no to a question tag.
It's true. It's like a social magnet. The coffee in this office is terrible, isn't it? Friday can't come soon enough, can it? That was a long meeting, wasn't it? When you use a tag, you're inviting the other person to join your team. It is much more conversational than a standard question.
Let's listen to a series of short small talk interactions in different environments. Notice how we use the weather, the weekend, and current events to fill the silence. Good morning. Man, it is really coming down out there, isn't it? I almost got soaked just walking from the parking lot.
Tell me about it. I forgot my umbrella this morning, so I had to run for it. I hope it clears up by the afternoon.
Me too. I heard it's supposed to be like this all weekend, unfortunately.
Ah, that's a shame. I was planning to go for a hike on Saturday. I guess it'll be a movie marathon instead.
Hi, Sophie. How was your weekend? Did you do anything fun?
It was pretty quiet, actually. I just stayed in and did some gardening. What about you? Did you catch the big game last night?
I did. What a finish, right? I can't believe they won in the last 10 seconds. My heart was pounding.
I know. I'm not even a huge fan, but that was an incredible play. Everyone in the office is going to be talking about it today.
Analysis time. In the first dialogue, we used the weather as a shared enemy. The rain was the problem, and we both agreed on it. In the second dialogue, we used the Monday morning ritual, asking about the weekend. This is a very common social requirement in offices. If you don't ask your colleagues about their weekend, you might seem cold or uncaring.
And notice the phrase, "What about you?" This is the simplest and most effective way to keep small talk going. You don't need a complex new question. You just answer their question and say, "What about you?" or "And you?" It keeps the ball moving back and forth.
Another great technique is the compliment question combo. You see a colleague has a new laptop or a new plant on their desk. You say, "I love that new plant on your desk. Is it easy to take care of?" You have given a compliment, which makes them feel good, and asked a question, which gives them a chance to speak. It's a double win for your social skills.
But what if you were in a negative situation? For example, the elevator is broken or the line at the cafeteria is very long. You can use shared frustration as a topic. Looks like we're going to be here for a while, doesn't it? Or, I think the elevator has a mind of its own today. Sharing a small frustration is a very fast way to build rapport with a stranger.
One cultural tip for small talk: the American enthusiasm. In the US, people often use very strong adjectives in small talk. Everything is awesome, great, amazing, or fantastic. If someone asks, "How are you?" the standard answer is, "Great, thanks. How about you?" Even if you are just okay, saying great is part of the social code.
In other cultures, like in the UK, small talk can be a bit more understated. A British person might say, "not too bad," or "can't complain," even if they are having a wonderful day. It is important to match the energy of the person you are talking to. If they are very enthusiastic, try to be a bit more energetic. If they are quiet and reserved, keep your small talk short and calm.
And finally, remember the purpose of small talk. It is not to solve the world's problems, it is to build a bridge of trust. If you can talk about the weather for 2 minutes, it shows that you are a person who can be trusted for a more serious conversation later. It is the warm-up before the game.
We have mastered the face-to-face social world, but now we have to deal with the invisible world, the world where you cannot see the person's face, you cannot see their hands, and the audio might be bad. We are talking about the phone call.
The phone call is the biggest hurdle for B1 students. In the next section, we are going to tackle the fear of the telephone. We will learn how to identify yourself, how to handle hold music, and how to deal with the frustration of not being understood.
Let's prepare our voices. The phone is ringing. Are you ready to answer it?
We have reached the third and perhaps the most intense part of our guide. The phone call. Why is this so difficult, Sophie? Even for people who speak English quite well, the telephone can be a source of major anxiety.
It's because we lose 80% of our communication tools, Oliver. In person, I can see your facial expressions, I can see your gestures, and I can see what you are pointing at. On the phone, I only have your voice. And if the connection is bad, or if you have a strong accent, or if the other person is speaking very quickly, it becomes a nightmare of "what?" and "sorry?" and "could you repeat that?"
It's like flying a plane in a thick fog. You are flying blind, but we can use fixed phrases to act as our radar. On the phone, there is a very specific etiquette, or set of rules. Let's start with identifying yourself. When you answer the phone or when you call someone, you don't just say, "Who is this?"
Right. If you are calling a business, you should say, "Hello, this is Sophie calling for," or "Hi, my name's Sophie and I'm calling about my recent order." You must state your name and your purpose immediately. If you are answering the phone at work, you should say the name of the company first. Global Tech Solutions, this is Sophie speaking. How can I help you?
And what if you want to speak to someone specific? You use the word may or could. "May I speak with Mr. Johnson, please?" Or, "Could you put me through to the accounting department?" To put someone through is a very important phrasal verb. It means to connect the call to another person.
And then comes the part everyone hates, being put on hold. The person says, "Please hold for a moment while I check that for you." Now you are listening to elevator music for 5 minutes. When they come back, they will say, "Thank you for holding." You should answer with, "No problem," or "Thank you for checking."
One of the biggest challenges on the phone is spelling. Your name, your email address, or your street name. S sounds like F, and B sounds like P. This is where the phonetic alphabet saves your life. You don't have to learn the official military one, but you should use words to clarify letters. A as in apple, B as in Bravo, C as in Charlie.
I always use S as in Sierra and M as in Mary. It prevents so many mistakes with airline tickets or doctor appointments. Let's practice a service call. I am calling a dentist to schedule an appointment. Oliver, you are the receptionist. Listen to how we handle the spelling and the appointment details.
Smile Dental Clinic, this is Oliver speaking. How can I help you?
Hi, Oliver. This is Sophie calling. I'd like to schedule an appointment for a routine cleaning and a checkup, please.
Certainly, Sophie. Have you been to our clinic before?
No, I'm a new patient. My friend recommended your office.
Wonderful. Let me get some information from you. Could you spell your last name for me, please?
Yes, it's Miller. M as in Mary, I as in India, L as in Lima, L as in Lima, E as in Echo, R as in Romeo.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. And do you have a preferred day or time for the appointment?
I'd prefer something in the morning next week if possible. Maybe Tuesday or Wednesday?
Let me check the calendar. I have an opening next Wednesday, the 14th at 9:30 a.m. Does that work for you?
9:30 is perfect. And could you tell me what documents I need to bring?
Please bring your ID and your insurance card. We will send you a text message to confirm the appointment 24 hours in advance.
Great. Thank you for your help, Oliver. Have a good day.
You too, Ms. Miller. Goodbye. That was a very smooth call. But what happens when the call is not smooth? What if the signal is bad? We call this a bad connection. You might hear static, or the person's voice might break up.
This is where you must be brave and speak up. Don't just pretend you understand. You can use these phrases. I'm sorry, you're breaking up. Could you say that again? The connection is a bit spotty. I didn't catch that last part. Could you speak up a little? It's a bit loud on my end. Would you mind repeating the phone number slowly?
Breaking up is the perfect phrasal verb here. It describes when the audio is cutting in and out. If the call completely stops, we say the call was dropped. I'm sorry, we got cut off. I think the call was dropped.
And what if the person is speaking too fast? This is a common problem with customer service agents. You can say, I'm sorry, English is my second language. Could you please slow down a bit? I want to make sure I have all the details correct. Most people will be happy to help if you are polite and honest.
Let's look at a more difficult call, a technical support call. I'm calling because my internet is not working. Sophie, you are the technical agent. This call will have some frustration and technical terms.
TechLink support, this is Sophie. Can I have your account number, please?
Hi, Sophie. This is Oliver. My account number is 8054. I'm calling because my internet has been down since this morning. I've already tried restarting the router, but it's still not working.
I'm sorry to hear that, Mr. Oliver. Let me run a diagnostic on your line. I see. There seems to be an outage in your area due to the storm last night. Our technicians are currently working on it.
An outage? Do you have an estimate of when it will be back up? I have a lot of work to do today.
The current estimate is 2 p.m. We can send you a notification to your phone once the service is restored.
That would be helpful. And will I receive a credit on my bill for the time the service was unavailable?
I can certainly look into that for you. Please hold the line for a moment while I check our policy. Okay, Mr. Oliver, I've applied a $5 credit to your next statement.
Thank you, Sophie. I appreciate the help. Hopefully the internet is back soon.
You're welcome. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
No, that's all. Thank you. Goodbye. In that call, we used words like outage, which means the service is completely stopped for a large area, and restored, which means the service is fixed and back to normal. We also talked about a credit, which is a small amount of money returned to the customer.
The telephone is all about clarity and confirmation. Always repeat the information back to the person. If they give you a confirmation code like XJ49, you should say, let me just confirm that. X as in X-ray, J as in Juliet, 49. Is that correct? This simple step prevents 1,000 problems later.
And don't forget the voicemail. If the person doesn't answer, you leave a message. Hi, this is Oliver. I'm calling regarding the meeting on Friday. Please call me back at your earliest convenience. My number is,
At your earliest convenience is a very professional way to say as soon as possible. It sounds much more elegant and less demanding.
We have covered so much ground today, Sophie. We have learned how to make friends at a networking event using the SOQ method. We have mastered small talk using question tags and safe topics like the weather. And we have conquered the fear of the phone call by using the phonetic alphabet and clear confirmation phrases.
It's a lot to take in, but remember, social English is a skill, not just a subject. You can't learn it just by listening, you have to do it. Every time you say hi to a neighbor or hello to a receptionist, you are training your social muscles.
Exactly. And now, to help you train those muscles even further, we are moving into our final section, the shadowing recap. We are going to take the most powerful phrases from all three sections and repeat them slowly so you can practice the rhythm and the confidence in your own voice.
Don't skip this part. This is where the magic happens. Let's get ready to speak.
Welcome to the shadowing section. I will say the phrase at a natural speed, and Sophie will repeat it slowly and clearly. Then there will be a 3-second pause for you to say it out loud. Focus on the intonation, the music of the sentence.
Let's start with making friends.
It's a bit crowded in here tonight, isn't it?
It is a bit crowded in here tonight, isn't it?
So, what brings you to this event today?
So, what brings you to this event today?
That's fascinating. I'd love to hear more about that.
That is fascinating. I would love to hear more about that.
It was great meeting you. I'll catch you later.
It was great meeting you. I will catch you later.
Now, let's practice some small talk. Beautiful day today, isn't it? I hope it stays like this.
Beautiful day today, isn't it? I hope it stays like this.
Did you do anything fun over the weekend?
Did you do anything fun over the weekend?
I love that new plant on your desk. Is it easy to grow?
I love that new plant on your desk. Is it easy to grow?
I'm with you on that. Morning meetings are tough.
I am with you on that. Morning meetings are tough.
And finally, let's master the phone call. Hello, this is Oliver calling for the marketing department.
Hello, this is Oliver calling for the marketing department.
Could you please slow down a bit? I want to take some notes.
Could you please slow down a bit? I want to take some notes.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up. Could you say that again?
I am sorry. You are breaking up. Could you say that again?
Let me just confirm the spelling of that email address.
Let me just confirm the spelling of that email address.
Thank you for your help. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you for your help. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Excellent work. Shadowing is the fastest way to bridge the gap between understanding English and speaking English. If you can say these phrases with confidence, you are ready for any social situation.
We hope this hour-long immersion has been helpful for you. Remember, you can listen to this as many times as you like. Let the voices of Oliver and Sophie become familiar to you, and soon you will find yourself using these phrases in your real life.
Thank you for joining us today on English Flash Talk. Your dedication to learning is what keeps us going. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Socializing is a journey, not a destination.
Keep practicing, keep listening, and most importantly, keep connecting with people. You are doing an amazing job.
Until next time, keep flashing.
See you in the next flash.
Goodbye.